What's up guys, and welcome back to another Wynand Crypto video. The bull run is finally upon us and XRP is completely on fire right now. We just passed USDT to become the third largest crypto by market cap. Ethereum, watch out, because next we're coming for that number 2 spot. Today we're going big. Paul Atkins, the appointed SEC regulatory chairman, BlackRock's SEC roundtable invitation, Roll Powell's $1 trillion call, and Charles Hoskinson's announcement that Cardano's growth will be from XRP, and fresh information from David Schwartz. Let's get right into it and determine what's actually happening with the volume and price action. Let's start with this headline. XRP flips USDT to become the third largest cryptocurrency by market cap. That's right, we're coming for Ethereum's lunch. See this. Freshly minted SEC chair Paul Atkins has made a crystal clear declaration of his priorities. Listen to this.
A key priority of my chairmanship will be to develop a rational regulatory framework for crypto asset markets that establishes clear rules of the road for issuance, custody, and trading of crypto assets, while continuing to discourage bad actors from violating the law. Clear rules of the road are necessary for investor protection against fraud, not the least to help them identify scams that do not comport with the law.
This is exactly what our space needs. What is the biggest problem with crypto aside from regulation? Scams. Somebody wakes up every single day and loses their entire wallet because they made one poor choice. You don't see this type of scamming in the legacy stock market, okay? It would be great if the SEC collaborated globally to put down the hammer on crypto fraud. It's wonderful to see the SEC chair acknowledge that digital assets matter to the commission. And remember, Paul Atkins has connections all the way back to Ripple and is intimately familiar with the technology. Earlier today at 1 p.m. Eastern, the SEC held a crypto roundtable with crypto giants BlackRock, Fidelity, Nasdaq, and more. This is huge. These giants are on the table and Ripple is no way not going to be part of these talks along with these multi-billion-dollar companies. Now pay attention. This video by Roll Paul is massive. This is our wake-up call if you're asleep on crypto.
This is the big one. This is your chance to make wealth. And not only can you make a bit of wealth, it's the fastest appreciating asset class in all of human history. So you can catch up really fast. So you just have to get involved and start that journey, but it will level the playing field for millions of people. So my view is it goes from a $3 trillion asset class today to 100 trillion in 10 years' time. So we're only 3% of the way there. And if you put it in different terms, that means there is $97 trillion of wealth that's going to get made.
Yeah.
People are going to make a lot of money, but it's not a few people. It's not like the tech barons or the bankers. This is like, well, Binance has 260 million customers. Now, you could lift 260 million people to change their lives. Okay, that's a big deal. There's 500 million crypto accounts around the world, so you can change 500 million lives. And if you speak to CZ or you speak to the others, they'll say, we want to have 1 billion people, 2 billion people. Well, if you can change 2 billion people's lives, that's a quarter of the world. So it's a very, very big deal. And also it's a big deal because people are getting access to dollars. So the stablecoin thing, I asked CZ about this. I'm like, well, what about stablecoins? He said, I didn't see how big they were going to be. He didn't realize, and most of us didn't realize, how desperate people are to own US dollars.
Yeah.
And so before, to get access to dollars, you had to have access to a big bank and or you could get a small amount of dollars. But normal people couldn't save in it. And somebody in Southeast Asia, they couldn't get access to dollars. And now suddenly they can get it on their Binance app immediately and send it to somebody else, US dollars. That's an incredible change for people. So there's some really big things happening that really change the world for a lot of people.
There's just so much in this clip. I think most of you watching my channel understand how important the next 5 to 10 years are going to be to your financial future. A couple smart decisions now could create generational wealth that easy. If you bet on the right project and technology and that company revolutionizes global value transfer, your life will be totally changed. Whether you make 10 million, 50 million or 100 million plus, it will be up to you to keep that money around. But let me say something here. I don't believe there are actually 500 million distinct crypto users worldwide. That's 500 million accounts, and a lot of people have more than one account on exchanges and wallets. In XRP alone, there are about 6 million wallets, and me having 5 to 10 different XRP wallets myself between your phone applications, hardware wallets, such as Ledger and Trezor, Coinbase wallets, etc., you likely have a few too. So in reality, there could be no more than a few dozen million people worldwide that will see the benefits of XRP success. That's not a large number, but it's around the corner. Here is David Schwartz from Apex 2024 speaking to what will be driving the value of XRP the next few years. Apex 2025 is looming near, and we will be having some clips from that as well.
But our first question is around, really what's going to be driving value to XRP, particularly kind of around the cross-border and sort of more like enterprise payments and financial use cases.
Yeah, so you guys can all see the question on the screen. I think the big thing that's gonna keep XRP like in its central role is its privileged place on the XRP ledger. XRP is the only token that you can pay transaction fees in. It's the only token that every account can receive. The payment engine during pathfinding always looks for XRP liquidity first, and XRP is auto-bridged through the order book, so XRP liquidity is sort of preferentially taken over to other types of liquidity just from order crossing. So XRP is always going to have a special place as a sort of liquidity tool on the XRP ledger.
And now this next part blew my mind. Listen to Cardano's founder, Charles Hoskinson, explain where he thinks Cardano's growth will come from.
When we look in the next 5 years, our big area of growth is likely going to come from XRP and from Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because we can do things for them, and that's a win-win. And when you add that together, that TVL is going to be 4 times larger than Ethereum and Solana combined.
Hell yeah. Whenever XRP's ledger or Cardano can outperform Ethereum, I'm okay with that. To be honest, Ethereum is no longer revolutionary technology. There are just too many layer 1 and layer 2s that outperform Ethereum today. Here is something to remember. When XRP is more valuable, it will make the solution more valuable because it adds liquidity to the network at a higher value. XRP can transfer a higher value than other cryptocurrencies. When in 2018 XRP was over $2.50 a token, Ripple's co-founder and former CEO Chris Larsen was among the richest people in the world because of his XRP holdings. Matt Hamilton said in 2018, if XRP is more valuable, it will make the solution more valuable because it brings liquidity onto the network. With higher value, XRP can represent a higher value than other currencies. If you take a step back and see the overall picture, all of the insiders are saying the same thing. This is the time. You need to be attuned now. Check it out.
Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is coming to financial services. I think AI is probably the other big disruption there, but and there's so much noise around a lot of things like FTX and others. But if you bring the technology down to its core value, it does 3 things. One is it allows a payment mechanism. Number 2, it allows smart contracts to be programmed into the token. And 3, because it's a general ledger, it has a source of truth.
The largest distraction currently is individuals thinking Bitcoin is the solution to economic freedom. If you compare Bitcoin's function to XRP, Cardano, XDC, XLM, Algorand, or HBAR, it's not even within a similar zip code. We're talking about the future of finance versus what has essentially become a collector's item. Do you see how maxis aren't even attempting to promote Bitcoin's technology anymore? Their narrative shifted from this is future technology to it's a store of value. Yes, gold and silver are stores of value too. Bitcoin might be more transferable, but for financial services, banking, payment systems, stablecoins, tokenization, real-world assets on-chain, debt on-chain, real estate, all of it, Bitcoin cannot offer. 7 transactions per second. Visa's peak capacity is around 50,000 TPS. Visa would typically process 3,000 to 5,000 TPS but can be scaled up on demand. I believe XRP Ledger can and will keep pace with the transaction volume. Breaking news. South Korean retail speculators are pouring into XRP and Doge, pointing to reviving risk appetite among speculative players. South Korean investors simply adore XRP. XRP is the most liquid digital currency on Korean exchanges, followed by Doge, then Ethereum, while Bitcoin trails behind. Korean investors have a full appreciation of XRP's true value in the blockchain universe. There's also this ancient recycled news of code-based proof of XRP being linked to ISO 222 and SWIFT. This is not new. It's from years ago, most likely from GitHub repositories where XRP is exposed together with Swift codes. The researchers Smoke provided code-based proof of XRP being linked to ISO standards and the Swift messaging network from the 2 snapshots on particular code references, RippleNet and R3 Quarterly. Although this is not front page news, it is still valuable verification. That's it for today. Smash that like button, subscribe, and put your XRP predictions in the comments. Before I go, I just want to tell you about something. If you want to long or short XRP, go to Wynand Crypto, and on this video, you're going to find a link to sign up to BTCC to be able to trade Bitcoin and XRP and other cryptocurrencies. And you guys, with BTCC and only my BTCC link, you can get a limited time $10,000 bonus on your first deposit. This is where I open all of my long positions and all of my trades. I think it's a fantastic place to be trading, so make sure to use my link down in the description below if you want to sign up and start trading XRP. I would be really thankful if you guys support my small channel with just moving your funds from your old trading platform to BTCC and then just racking in that huge bonus. It helps you and me. And if you own XRP, do your part, show your support. I love you all, and I will see you very soon. Until the next time, Wynand Crypto out.